Good evening everybody. With it now being almost a decade since Guitar Hero Buckethead's glorious Pike album series began, it's time to take a look back at a series which at the making of this video is almost 300 albums deep. And first up, the album where it all began, Pike number 1, It's Alive. Woo! It's Alive was released 2 days after Buckethead's 42nd birthday on May 15th, 2011, 2 weeks before his 2011 tour began. And it's one of the few Pike album CDs to be sold with its original front and back cover artwork, with the series later being replaced with original signed covers with a numbered CD. Pike number 1's album cover was illustrated by Buckethead's Peasticks, based on the famous scene from the 1931 classic horror movie Frankenstein.
It's alive! Oh, it's alive! It's alive! It's alive! It's alive!
And the Buckethead logo with the 13 cents and Pike number is a play on early comic book covers, notably Marvel Comics, with Buckethead of course using his favourite number 13. The 8-track album clocked in at just over 31 minutes long, which at the time was one of the shortest albums Buckethead had ever released, but has since become a standard runtime for the Pikes. Like the rest of the Pikes and many of Buckethead albums from the early 2000s, the album was co-produced with Dan Monti, also known as Brewer. As well as playing bass and programming on almost all of the Pikes, Dan has credits for work with Metallica, Guns N' Roses, Serj Tankian and many more artists, and deserves a huge amount of credit for what the Pike albums have become. It's Alive and the Pike album series kicked off with track number 1, LeBrontron. Released a few months prior to the album's release, the track is dedicated to basketball star LeBron James. Excellent riffs, great flow, a cool solo midway, it's a great way to kick off the album. Track 2, Tonka, is heavy both on riffs and delivery with some cool kill switchery along the way. It does slightly lose its way later in the track, but still an enjoyable listen. Track 3, Peeling Out, is 15 seconds of Buckethead shredding and in all honesty has no need to be on the album. Track 4, Barnyard Banties, goes from some cool funky bass slapping to guitar popping and back again. It's a nice change of direction for the album, even if it's nowhere near as strong as tracks 1 and 2. Track 5, Crack the Sky, is another song that was released before the album came out and is also dedicated to a basketball star, Blake Griffin. And just like LeBrontron, it's an instant classic. Highly enjoyable, great riffs, an outstanding solo around the 2.5 minute mark, and a mighty outro. Great stuff. Track 6, The Hatch, is a stop-start bass jam that for me doesn't quite get going or really find its feet. Track 7, Brooding Peeps, picks things right back up with a solid, consistent song that's right up there with LeBrontron and Crack the Sky. Cool riffs, fun solo, overall the album's 3rd best track. The final song of the album, Picking the Feathers, is Buckethead in full-on oddball mode, mixing what appears to be banjo with the occasional heavy riffage like he's on a round trip to Inbred Mountain. A fairly unremarkable song, it doesn't leave the album on a high note, but that's alright. Initially I planned to include the rating I gave for each song in these videos, but if I said that one song is 5 stars and another song is 2 stars, then some people who haven't already heard the album might just skip the 2-star song and miss out on something they might enjoy. Instead, I've given an overall percentage of the album, which for Pike 1 I gave 55%, which I categorise as average. Although, to be fair, this does include the rating for the 15-second song Peeling Out, which severely dragged the rating down. Without including the song, the rating would be 63.5%, which I categorise as good, and feels about right. So what's your rating for Pike number 1? To work out what percentage you give the album, rate each song out of 5 stars, add up your total, and divide it by the total score possible, which for Pike number 1 is 40, or 35 without peeling out. Then times it by 100. So the Pike album series got off to a good start, and Buckethead was only just warming up. Woo!